We're here to launch and celebrate the second revised edition of the Architecture of Hope. Architecture as a metaphor for hope is an idea, usually unconscious or semi-conscious, behind what we do. If you think about it, though, an architect has lots of choices to make: the choice of style, the choice of mood, the choice of feeling, and metaphor. And architecture of hope is, like hope in general, a projection onto the future.
They make the treatment of cancer visible in a way, ironically, because they're not places where cancer is treated, far more than the hospital, where the oncology department is buried deep in the heart of the medical machine. And as Charles said, they allow the staff as well as the patients to feel valued rather than feel like components in a machine. So the Maggie centres might be small, but they do a lot of things.
I just tried my hardest to do a lovely building and to make it optimistic and to make it have an element of exploit nature, which has its natural delight, to use nature, to use the view of the horizon, to use those elements to make a place.
The architecture of hope is a really beautiful notion, and it suggests much more than you can possibly describe in a building. But I think we have to be really careful not to over-promise. This isn't a solution, but it's a place where you can be helped through illness and where you can begin to adjust to what is a new world. For me, it's been an incredible privilege to be invited to design Maggie's Cancer Centre. And my hope, I guess, is that our design will make a positive difference to people who are experiencing and dealing with cancer.
It is human to fear, and to fear when ill, and it's right to hope. Medicine has a duty to care for people and to foster hope, but the shape and the content of that hope will evolve as we inevitably decline. We have a duty not only to the patient in front of us, not just to me as a patient, the person suffering here, but also to the wider good. These are values at the heart of this country's creaking health service.
So I'd like to say that our architects have given people with cancer hope, and as Charles alluded to, is that they help the carers, the professionals, to be so much more effective than they could ever have been without the architecture that they have to operate in. So I'd like to celebrate our book. Charles, thank you so much for writing it, and our panel, Eddie, Amanda, Piers and Sam, for kind of highlighting, I think, some of the importance and qualities that the Maggie Centres and you, our audience.
I'll finish with a patient, Mrs. Jones. Mrs. Jones was in clinic last week, so I'll tell you about her in confidence. She's 50 trillion cells and a fondness for jazz. Tissues gather weight in her left upper lobe, and there's a new blush to her liver. They'll take out the tumour, irradiate it, they said, zap it, they said. Because it's there. Because she'll live longer. If Mets, then drugs. Get a remission, get on with it. Spend it on palliative care, on peds, the armed forces, more nurses, overseas aid. No, take it. The drugs, the days, with ferocity, this life. It's your right. Why come to work, doctor, if not to fix her? Mrs. Jones, let's think about it. Thank you. I want to be comfortable. No, resuscitated. Another opinion. She's 35. She's 85. A cleaner. Illegal immigrant. Professor of neurology. She's delightful. Thank you for referring this delightful, light, full. She's uncomplaining, uncompliant, difficult, a heart sink, a fascinating case. She's shown care, kept waiting, not known, phoned late, above and beyond. She's Mrs. Jones, and I'll tell you about her, but only in confidence.